Hey folks, everything new under the sun. This is a new radio to me. It's sent to me by Retevis, and it happens to be a GMRS radio. I'll show you quickly what is in the box, and then we'll talk about GMRS and what this radio could be useful for. So here it is. Here's the manual for it. Two-way radio, user manual. This stuff for me is kind of a step below ham radio. This does require a radio license, this GMRS radio, and I'll get this out in a second and show you what it has. But GMRS does require a basic license that you pay for. You don't have to write a test, but you do have to pay for it. And this is indeed, it says in the manual that this is a two-way radio, and it's a GMRS, and a valid individual license is required to operate this station. And it's marked up here as well. So the frequency range in UHF and VHF for the weather radio stations is GMRS, at least the UHF for the GMRS, which is separate than a ham radio. Of course, you know that I'm a ham radio operator. You need to get. So here is the unit itself. First of all, it's pretty heavy. Seems pretty solid. It's very sturdy. This plastic is very hard, very solid. You know, it feels like you could drop it a few times. It also has a rubber band around here, so it feels like it's waterproof. I don't know if it is waterproof, but it's a very firm and significant fit there, and it seems to be well designed. This particular unit. It's a very nice, very sharp digital display with receive and transmit frequencies. Very nice. So you get your little string for it, so you can hang it off your belt, whatever. Or hold it rather. This is the belt clip that comes with it. You get a USB-C cable with it, and then of course you get the base unit to actually charge it, which is nice. So it's got the lithium battery in it. Testing 1 2 test. Testing 1 2.
Okay, testing. This is a test of the NR30S, the GMRS radio from Retevis. A test of the audio quality. Now I don't have another GMRS radio, but the GMRS actually is cross-compatible with a wide set of frequencies with FRS. I'm not sure if it's the full 21 frequencies that you normally get on your regular FRS, but it is cross-compatible as long as you turn off the CTC-SS codes on this radio. So yes, it's a good example. I'm using a plain old family radio service walkie-talkie about 10 meters away from this GMRS. This is not a test of range at all, but just a test of kind of the audio coming out of it and how it works. So this is interoperable with all FRSs, which is a great tool to have, and it works with other GMRS radios. And with the tones that you can put on at the CTCSS tones, you can actually interact with GMRS repeaters as well to extend the range. Now, again, the wattage of this, in Canada at least, you don't need a license for this, but you're limited to 2 watts. In the United States, you do need a license, and you get more power, I guess, there. You can do your own research. But anyways, this is a good little test of the audio, and again, if I had another one, I would test the range. But now that I know it's interoperable with FRS, it's actually a very good tool to have in your kit as just an extra radio, interoperable with maybe other neighbors who have different radios, GMRS radios, and you can tell them you can use FRS with it as well. So, good audio test, and just a look at how it operates as well.
GMRS, as I suggested, is a little different than ham radio. It is something you do require a license to operate with. But that license, again, doesn't require that you pass any test, anything like that. You pay your money, you get your license, and then you can use this. So many people, for example, during Hurricane Helene, have went out and got GMRS radio simply because you can quickly get a license, and you can get a more high-powered GMRS radio, which is kind of a step above FRS, or kind of the old-school walkie-talkies. It's a step above. It works a little bit farther, a little bit more power. I will interject here in this video. I'm talking about the NR30S radio. Now, on the Retevis website, it actually comes in a bundle with a RT97S repeater, a GMRS repeater for long range. So you would put this repeater device up on a high point, a tower with the antenna, and you would use your NR30S and communicate through the repeater for long range communication. So that is a very, very fascinating kind of an emergency setup that you could have with this particular radio. And it's something that I didn't mention in the video, but you can set the radio up again with the tones. That's what the CTCSS tones are for, to interact with the repeater and get that long range. You're talking tens of kilometers, if not more. So a very, very fascinating thing. Now, I don't know that they suggest exactly how far it's going to go. And by the way, this is IP67 waterproof. So there you go. I was mentioning the grommet around the antenna. So IP67 waterproof and 2800 milliamp hour battery with the group call function, as I mentioned. So GMRS radio, and you can go to Retevis.com and get the whole repeater package added onto it, which massively extends. If you're the hub and you set up a tower, you could have friends and family from 10, 20, maybe 30 kilometers potentially calling into this repeater and be able to communicate. And that repeater, what it does is it extends your reach. If you're 10 kilometers from a repeater, for example, line of sight to this particular thing, so you can't have a lot of trees or hills in the way. But if you're 5 or 10 kilometers away from it, and you're able to hit the repeater that can then repeat the signal another 5 or 10 kilometers in the continuing in that direction opposite you. So you have a wide range of potentially 20, 30, 40 kilometers around the repeater. Again, it depends on terrain, trees, atmosphere, or whatever else may be impeding signal at that time, but it massively extends the range, and that's a significant advantage to a GMRS network with the use of a repeater. It does have privacy codes as well. Again, this is something that you would, you're going to buy 2 of. You're going to set a family member up with it, and you're going to get licenses for this. It does have a list of weather NOAA channels that you can dial into.
À Charlotte, Borne, diffusant sur la fréquence de 162 400 MHz. Service offert par Environnement et Changement Climatique Canada. Tout commentaire devrait être acheminé au 1.
I would say start with FRS, a pack of FRS radios. You can get them from Retevis as well. Once you're ready to go to the next level with a bit more distance, reliability, you could move up to GMRS, which is, again, a licensed standard. And then from there, I would definitely recommend you work towards your ham radio license, because that's kind of the ultimate solution for long range, especially over HF. This is going to be your UHF communications over the 462 megahertz and other frequencies. And if you get your ham radio license, you can do UHF, VHF, and HF. HF is the one where you send radio waves around the world, and you can communicate to, Japan, for example, or Australia. And so if you want real long-range dedicated communications equipment, you step up to ham radio. But this is a great intermediate step up from FRSs. So here's my sum up for the NR30S radio from Retevis. As I hold it in my hand now, it is a substantial and a decent size walkie-talkie, which is going to be longer range than your standard FRS, your walkie-talkie maybe that your kids use or that you take on camping trips. This is more heavy duty. This has got some weight to it. It's got some functionality to it in terms of interoperability with GMRS repeaters. And in the US, if you get your license, you can use this on high power mode. In Canada, we can use it up to 2 watts. And again, after playing with it for a little while and realizing that it actually is interoperable with FRS frequencies, this is kind of the radio that you're going to want in a stuff hits the fan scenario, an emergency scenario, because you can listen to FRS radio stations. You can scan them, and you can also scan and listen to other GMRS radio users as well. And so you get the kind of the functionality of both, the ability to operate in both areas. And again, it's a step up from your standard FRS radio. Now, if you want to go to longer range, this is going to get you probably a couple kilometers, similar to a high-powered FRS radio. If you want to get longer range, you can step up to the GMRS repeater, which is sold on the Retevis website, which is a very, very interesting setup. And in Canada, given that you don't need a license, this is a very quick option if you want emergency preparedness and a set of radios for you and your neighbors. You can get this thing set up, for a couple $100 and have a range, 10, 15, 20 kilometers, maybe more, depending on the height of the repeater and where you're transmitting from. The step up then beyond there would be to get your ham radio license, so you can go hundreds, thousands of kilometers and communicate that far. But this is a great option, especially in Canada, given that you don't require a license for it, to get a full communications kit set up, something that's a bit more substantial, heavy duty than your standard FRS. I definitely recommend having FRS radios, having GMRS radios, having a ham radio, having a CB radio, multiple forms of communication and multiple ways to listen is going to be an advantage to you in an emergency situation. But for the price of this, and it seems to work well, I gotta say, my opinion of it has changed, and I think I would recommend it if you're looking for another radio that's going to kind of be a stopgap between your FRS radios, which go a short distance, and kind of the HF of the ham radio frequency spectrum, and the requirement to get the license and the threshold you have to meet to get into ham radio. So great kind of in-between way to get some high-power radios, good quality radios, but not then have to get your ham radio license. I definitely recommend ham radio license as the next step. But anyways, I'll leave it there. So I was actually impressed with this after I had a chance to review it. So thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next video.